Have you ever wondered why some people seem to live their lives in a continuous circle of self-pity? It's like they're trapped in an unending pity party, a grand ball of gloom and doom. This isn't merely about feeling downcast now and then. It's about being stuck in a state of self-defeating melancholy that casts a shadow on every aspect of their lives. They're like actors stuck in a tragic play, constantly repeating the same sorrowful lines, unable to break free from the script. This self-pity prevents them from savoring the joys of life, from forming meaningful connections with others. Instead, they become islands of misery, isolated by the tumultuous seas of their own despair. Such a life is not merely unhappy, it's a life of misery, a life of unending lament. It's like being trapped in a room with walls made of mirrors, where all they can see is their own sorrow reflected back at them. It's a dark reality that many people face, often lasting their entire lives. But what is the root cause of this? Consider the case of John, a man who appeared to be addicted to his own misery. John's life was one long, endless pity party. He was always the guest of honor, wallowing in his own despair, focusing on every setback, every missed opportunity. His relationships were strained. His friends and family felt drained, as if they were trapped in a vortex of his constant negativity. Opportunities for growth and change passed him by, as he was too engrossed in his own sorrow to notice. John's professional life mirrored his personal life. His colleagues found him difficult to work with. His superiors saw no potential for growth. He was stuck in a rut, and the sad part is, he dug that rut himself. His self-pity was a self-imposed prison, holding him back from truly living. John's story is a stark example of how self-pity can consume a person's life. But is there a way out of this cycle? Feeling sorry for oneself is often just an excuse to avoid trying to improve. It's a shield, a defense mechanism that deflects responsibility and accountability. When we wallow in self-pity, we create a cocoon of comfort, albeit a miserable one, that safeguards us from the harsh realities of life. We don't have to confront our flaws, our weaknesses, or our failures. Instead, we become the victims, the ones wronged by the world, and the ones deserving of sympathy. And when others affirm our misery, it feeds this narrative. It reinforces our belief that we are right to feel sorry for ourselves, that our misery is justified. This affirmation, this validation, locks us deeper into the shackles of self-pity, leading us down a path of perpetual misery. But here's the truth. Self-pity is a prison. It's a life sentence of unhappiness, of unfulfilled potential, of missed opportunities and connections. This is a dark tale that needs to be heard. It's time for us to break free from the chains of self-pity and strive for a happier, healthier life. Even in the darkest of times, there is always a glimmer of hope. That's the first step, recognizing that light, however dim, exists even in the murkiest corners of self-pity, and that light can be found in the little things in life. A kind word from a stranger, a beautiful sunset, a song that lifts your spirits. These are all sparks of hope that can ignite a flame within us. Imagine for a moment reaching out to others with a more optimistic perception. Not in search of sympathy, but of understanding, empathy, and connection. Surrounding ourselves with positive influences can help change our perspective. Try to see the world through the lens of gratitude, of hope, of resilience. We may find that the world isn't as bleak as we've painted it in our minds. The most crucial part of this journey towards hope is giving up, no matter how bleak things may seem. Life is full of ups and downs, and while we can't control what happens to us, we can control how we react to it. Instead of sinking deeper into self-pity, we can choose to rise above it. We choose to see the lessons in our failures, the strength in our weaknesses, and the opportunities in our challenges. A life can change in an instant, but if we are not willing to open our eyes to see the light, then we will always live in darkness. It's time to break free, to step into the dawn of hope, and embrace the promise of a happier, healthier life.